How you doing? My name is Kenneth. I'm the Lone Dice Guy. You're watching my solo Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition adventure as Ming Zao, a monk of the Order of the Dragon. Let's dive into today's session. Okay, so when we last left Ming, him and Jem decided to part ways. Jem was going to chase after her little sister after their encounter in the ancient burial mound, and Ming, kind of taking Jem's advice, is now in search of a weapon. There is something in his order called the Rite of Selection. Don't know what that is yet. I made it up on the fly, so we'll find out more about that today, I'm sure. But it's a I mean, I got the idea that it's maybe like a way that one of the monks kind of bonds with a weapon to use as their official monk weapon. And so maybe this is something that's only offered to those who have reached a certain level of skill. I don't know. We'll figure that out later. But right now, kind of the threads that we've got, as I'm looking at them, most of our threads are pretty much solved. We've learned about Jem and her family and kind of what they do. We learned where the source of the undead is, and we got rid of the stone that was being used by Jem's little sister to raise the dead. So that's dealt with. Definitely feel like Leah's soul can be at rest a little bit more. But now, Ming understands that he's not as strong as he could be. He has a lot of growth to do, and so I think he's gonna take Jem's advice and find a weapon. But last time we rolled that Ming does not want to go home, and he doesn't think his master is going to be a lot of help. But honestly, I've got no other leads. I think even Ming knows it. He doesn't have any other leads. There is this rite that comes up in his orders like a liturgy, whatever you want to call it. His orders tradition. There we go. And so now he's going to make a decision, kind of keep traveling on his own way or go home. And we made the decision he's going to go home. All right. All that said, new scene, and here's the scene set up. Ming is going home. He's going back to the monastery to talk to his master or someone else at the monastery about the Rite of Selection, what it is, how to do it, all that other stuff. Our chaos factor, we're going to leave it at 5, just kind of a clean slate, kind of a new arc is happening now. And so we'll clean slate now. So chaos factor is 5, which means we roll a d10 against our chaos. 9. So the scene happens as it's supposed to, as normal. So Ming is going along the way to back home. Now remember, he's been training with Jem for about a little over a month. It's been about 2 months since he left the monastery, for real. So I gave him half proficiency in survival to travel through the woods. So let's do a survival check now. I think that let's put his training to the test, shall we? So let's see what he rolls to see if he can get through the wilderness, kind of back to. They're on the main road, but they're still in the middle of nowhere. So let's see how he does. 6 plus 5 equals 11. So I was gonna say 10 or higher, and he's good. So, he's putting the skills that Jem taught him to good use. He's able to go and pick certain berries that he knows now that are safe to eat, okay to eat. He knows, like, okay, at this time of day, probably should avoid the road because of wolves and other things that like to scavenge along at that part of the day. Like, he's learned kind of the patterns of the wilderness a bit more. And so I'm going to say, nothing really super bad happens before he gets to the ruined tower where he met Jem. Now, here's my question. With that power that was raising the undead, when it goes down, does that have any unintended consequences? I can't think it would, but I know that in a lot of mythologies in our world, that lodestones and kind of stones of power are normally used for some kind of ritualistic magic, or used, whatever the legend says. So surely it's connected to something else. I don't know. So let's actually go to the fate chart for this. So fate chart, here's my question. I'm going to say this is actually likely. I think that there's no way this is just a freak occurrence. There's just no way. It had to be connected to something else. So fate chart, is this connected to something else? Are there going to be unintended consequences from destroying the stone? 32, that's going to be, remember, I think it's likely, that's going to be a yes. So we may not know what they are right now, and that's perfectly okay. That's perfectly okay. But eventually, we're going to find out something. And so I'm going to make a note that there are unintended consequences for knocking out whatever that stone is. Don't know what it'll be. All right, so just wanted to get that out of the way. I think that now that I know that, yeah, it's good for the story. But anyway, moving on, I don't think anything happens. I really don't. I'm going to make one more survival check, and then if he gets, so we'll say the DC is, well, actually, I'm sorry. As he gets close to civilization, I think it'll be easier. So he's basically got to roll. If he rolls anything higher than a 3, he'll be fine. So if he rolls like a 1 or a 2, or a 3, that's a problem. 19, okay, yeah, we're good. We're more than good. So again, he's able to avoid all of the dangers of the wild. Jem has taught him well over the past month, and so he makes it back to the village at the base of the mountain where Leah used to live. I don't think he's going to stay here very long. I think he's kind of, but I know I'm sure a bunch of the villagers are happy to see him. We'll say this, roll a d20, or no, sorry, roll a d12. That's kind of the time of the day. 2, so I'm in evens odds, it'll be 2 a.m. If it's evens, a.m. odds, p.m. Evens, a.m. Okay, so he's been traveling. He kind of, well, yes, he was able to avoid all the dangers of the road. He didn't. He was so consumed with being super hyper vigilant that he kind of lost track of time. And by the time he realized that the sun was setting soon, he was like, I'm only a couple more hours away. Might as well just push. So he didn't camp. He didn't stop for the night. It's 2 a.m. in the morning. And so he kind of gets to the village. Obviously, they have the gates closed. He can see the guards, the night watchmen walking along kind of the ramparts outside of the village. Remember, it's not a town. It's a village. And so the walls are made of logs that have been drove into the ground. It's like a palisades rather than like an actual working stone wall. It's all made of wood. And so the back behind the actual wall itself, maybe they built like a crude walkway for guards to get an overhead view. And so he walks up and he kind of goes up to the door and he waves at one of the guards. Guard looks down and he's like, "Oi, Ming! Do you know what time it is?" "Sorry, it's really late, I know. Do you think I could come in and stay the night?" "I'm sorry. No one's allowed in after we close the gate. You're on your own. Sorry." "I understand." Oh. I mean, nothing can be done there. Oh. Let's do a persuasion check. Let's just see. Can he persuade them? I don't think you can. 16? I think it... No. I don't think even that, I think, wouldn't work. Remember, this village was attacked by undead not even a month ago. I think they're like super... they're super careful now. But either way, no big deal. You're just going to keep going. So Ming's going to kind of circumvent the outside of the village. And of course, he comes down the other side. And then he sees the pathway up the mountain. I am going to make him do a constitution check, though. Because he's been traveling all day. He's probably really tired. So I'll say DC is 10 plus Chaos Rank is 5, so 15. And I'm going to add an additional 1, 16, because it's really late. He's tired. So 16 DC. 3 plus 3 is 6. He does not have the energy to make it up that mountain tonight. He knows that. So I think what he's going to do is when he gets to the other side, he's like, he sees the path up, and he's just, whatever. So he kind of picks a clear, soft patch of grass outside the village, and he just sets his pack down, grabs his blanket or cloak or whatever, puts it around him, and he's going to just kind of go to sleep there. Does anything happen in the middle of the night? Or, sorry, when he's sleeping? I think it's very likely. There's no way that he's going to be sleeping. He's out here in the middle. Even if he's close to the village, something's going to happen. So very likely. Oh boy, 69. Yeah, 69. That is a yes. So what happens? Let's roll on our random event. I think we can just roll a random event now. I'm just going to roll straight up random. So first thing we do in our event, focus. Oh, wow. So 90. That's going to be an NPC negative. Okay. I don't know what NPCs, so we'll roll from our list here in a moment. Actually, let's do that now. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 characters that we know of right now, NPCs that we know of right now. Not including the dead Leah, but I'm not, I don't think I'm going to make resurrection a thing here. So we'll do 1d8 minus 1, and then reroll on 1. So 5. So it's going to be a 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Karvok Soldat. Okay, so it's an NPC negative about Karvok, means friend, merchant friend. Okay. He does come to this village often, so... Okay, let's roll our meaning and subjects. Or action and subjects. 19, right? Yeah, 19 is waste. Okay. Waste. 37, business. Waste business. Okay, so he is a businessman. He's a trader. He's that's his job. Waste business. I got it. All right. So nothing's gonna happen to Ming in the middle. He's gonna sleep through the night, no problem. But I think about just after dawn, maybe like an hour or two after dawn, when the gates open up and everything, Ming's gonna be sleeping very soundly, very nice. He's nice soft bed of grass. He's comfortable there. He's grown used to being in the wilds over the past month with a gem, and so he's grown very comfortable with it. But he's gonna be woken up to the sound of screaming, and so he wakes up and hears, and he kind of he rustles a little bit. But he's just going to hear, "You can't do this to me! I've been coming to this village for decades! You can't do this to me!" Right, so clearly he recognizes Karvok's voice. He wakes up and he thinks he's dreaming for a moment, but clearly he remembers kind of where he is. And so he sits up and he sees over he kind of crossed the little pathway. He looks up across the way and he sees Karvok's caravan of wagons and things. He stands up and rubs his eyes a bit, puts his pack back on, and walks over. As he's listening to the argument as he gets closer, the chief of the village. I'm just gonna say it's that. I'm not sure what name we'll give him in a moment, but the chief of the village is standing there talking with Karvok, and they're exchanging back and forth. One screaming, the next screams. One screams, the next screams. What is the nature of their disagreement? So we know that we rolled waste business. So I think that means that Karvok's going to lose out on something. He's lost something important. I don't know what it is yet. But what's the nature of this disagreement? 05, recruit. And 26, the physical recruit. Oh, this is so easy. Yeah. So Karvok came to the village. He needed some helping hands, right? And he knows that some people in the village were looking for work, so he came here. And I'm thinking that he came with his normal wares, but the for whatever reason the people of the village just decided, hey, we're not interested in buying it. And I was like, okay, no big deal. That's no big deal. But when he starts to try and recruit some hired hands for it, I think the village chief is going to just outright refuse. Like, no, you can't hire anyone here. I think that because of what happened to the undead, it's kind of all hands on deck kind of right now. In fact, the village is probably looking outside for people to come in, for people to come into the village, move to the village, start families there, maybe to replenish a little bit of what they've lost. But I think also that may be why they didn't let even Ming in last night, because of the lack of resources they have, because of the lack of guards to man the walls, because of the lack of guards to even keep the village in order. I think that they've had to take maybe some stricter measures than normal. And so, of course, they've got no help from the monastery, trust me. So maybe Karvok comes here and then they just they don't even give him the chance to talk to people. They say, no, we can't, no, just no. And of course, pisses Karvok off. It should. He's been coming to this village, like you said, for decades. There's no reason why they should give him the cold shoulder like this. So Ming walks up and he kind of looks at both. Now remember, one of the tenets, one of the things that people of his order are encouraged to do is to seek peace, right? To mediate disagreements and to seek peace whenever there's conflict. So he's going to feel the drive, to, especially because it's Karvok, his friend, he's going to feel the drive to intervene. Oh, good morning, everyone. Karvok, what's going on? Village chief, what's going on? Of course, Karvok's like, Ming, good you're here. Tell this, and he mutters a slur in Dwarven. Tell this that I should be able to come into the village and recruit for people if I want. It is their choice to work for me or not. There's no reason to treat me like I am some kind of stranger. Karvok, calm down. Let's see what's going on. Village elder, what's the meaning of this? Surely that you can let him come in. I mean, he can sell his wares as normal, and then it sounds like he needs help. Let him recruit. He pays a fair wage. He's an honorable businessman. Well, listen here, Ming. We appreciate what you did for us, okay? You hear? We appreciate what you did for us. But we're short-handed as it is. We can't afford to lose anyone else to him taking him. And you're right. He is a good businessman. He can pay him much more than we can. Much more than we can. And we need every person on the walls, let me tell you. So as far as I'm concerned, Karvok, you're more welcome to come in and sell your wares. All right? But we cannot afford to lose a single watchman, tradesman, craftsman, artisan. We can't afford to lose anyone anymore because of the recent undead attack. Now, I'm sorry. You're gonna have to honor that. If you can't, you're not welcome right now. Come back in a couple months and we're able to be better hosts. But right now, that's how it's going to go down. I wonder if Ming can solve this problem. Karvok, what are you looking for specifically? Why are you looking to hire people? Ming motions to kind of the caravan that's coming behind him. You already have plenty of people to solve this, right? That's a good question. He already has a team. Why does he need one more? I actually don't know. Hey, Trip. So, let's just roll 2 reasons why. 81. Excitement. Okay. And 3. Excitement environment. I got it. All right. I think the excitement environment. I think that Karvok has accepted a job, or rather he wants to go somewhere that is not the safest place. Maybe even somewhere that is dangerous and exciting, the environment itself. We'll worry about that in a moment. But he needs help. He needs someone to be with him. It isn't that he's recruiting for like tradesmen or even people to help him sell his wares. I think he's recruiting like bodyguards, like actual people to go with him to keep him safe. I don't think the village elder is going to back off on this. I think that he's made it very clear. It's a very good argument. Don't have anyone to spare. Sorry. So Ming's going to kind of put his hand on Karvok's shoulder. Hey, friend, why don't we go talk over here? Let's talk about this. The village elder has made it very clear that there's nothing they can do, but maybe I can help in some way. Why don't we sit down and talk about it? He's cursing at the guy in Dwarvish. This guy doesn't know Dwarvish. He doesn't know what he's saying. It's bad. It's bad. He's cussing him out the whole way through. So Karvok and Ming kind of go to one of the back behind the wagons and can just kind of sit on the ledge on the back of it. And so Ming says, "What are you trying to do?" Ming, my boy, I accepted a job that may be a bit too much for me. If I was 30 years older? No problem. I could do it. But I'm not 30 years older anymore. I'm too old for this. Much too old. Where are you trying to go? Back home. To the Dwarven capital. Yeah. It's no problem, right? Easy. I wish I could say that. There's been talk of bandits on the road lately and worse. Wait, between here and the Dwarven capital? I thought your nephew, Modig, right? He's part of the militia. They should be guarding the roads. I mean, surely they should be safe. That's what you think. But they're having a hard time of it too. Something happened recently. I don't know what. We don't know what, but these monsters have been crawling out of the caves and out of all the different parts of the mountain more than ever before. Really? Yeah. About when did that happen? About a week ago. It's been about a week since Ming destroyed the stone. Oh. Oh. Yeah. So because of that, me and my crew, normally we'd be able to handle anything, but not this. This is too much. Just too much. Maybe, I don't know if Ming is going to volunteer. He's got a goal, right? He's got a goal to go up there and get a weapon and do this right, whatever it is. Is Ming willing to offer help? I don't know. I think it's unlikely. I think he's really focused on his goal. I don't think he wants to offer help right now. 50 or 60, which is a no. So he's not willing to offer help right now. Karvak, I would normally jump at the chance to help you, especially because of what you did for me in introducing me to Modig. That was important. You helped save the village. Yeah, even more. That's why they should treat me a little bit better, don't you think? Maybe. When do you have to do this errand? When is the job due? Anytime. There's really no rush. But I would like to get it done before winter. It's like late fall. I understand. The roads become practically impassable in winter. Exactly. Well, we could go under the mountains, but we're not foolish enough to do that. Okay. When do you want to leave? What? When do you want to leave? I've got something I have to do back at the monastery. Something very important, which actually will make me even more effective in what you're doing. But I think it's time I repaid you for your helping me with the village. Ming, I don't... Look, I appreciate it, truly. But I'm looking for someone stronger. I didn't want to say that. You thought it. Oh, so you're a telepath now? No. But you thought it. Yes. Karvak, I've got a plan. And believe it or not, I have gotten slightly stronger. Not a lot, but enough to know just how weak I am. There's something I can do up in the monastery that might be able to help me help you. Can you wait a week? Aye, we could. Then let me go to the monastery and do what I have to do then. I can help you. I want to help you. I want to pay you back for what you've done for me. I guess I don't have any choice, do I? Not really. And guess beggars can't be choosers, huh? No, they can't. Fine, boy. 1 week. Meet me in Soldera. Do you remember the way? Yes, I do, Carbuck. Great. I'll sell some wares here and then be on my way. At that point, Ming kind of gets off the wagon, turns and walks back to the gate, quickly talking to the village elder, explaining the situation. The village elder, thanks him profusely and allows Carbuck and his caravan to enter. Ming, says his goodbye and heads up the road. So now we've got another thread. Carbuck has accepted some kind of job to go back to the dwarven capital. Don't really know the specifics from that. We'll worry about that later. But Ming's offered his help to kind of, again, to keep the peace. Remember that they want to keep the peace and help others. But, yeah. So, Ming does that. He's going to help the mountain. No problem. He's munching on trail rations on the way there. Some bits of berries and other things he's gathered in his travel. Finally, he makes it to the monastery. And actually, I'm going to close the scene there. I think it's important that we close it. So, was Ming in control? Kind of, but not really. I think things went pretty well. I don't think anything spiraled out of control, right? So I'm actually going to lower the chaos rank down to 4. So yeah, things went pretty well. So set up for this scene, Ming has now arrived back at the monastery, and it's time to talk to his master or anyone about the Rite of Selection and what that is and what it entails. So as always, roll against chaos. Chaos rank 4. Remember, it's 4 or less, it changes. 5 or higher, everything's fine. 10. So everything's going swimmingly. We've got all the scenes today have been going really well. Good. So he arrives back at the monastery. He's been away for 2 months, the longest he's ever been away from the monastery. So it feels good to come home. He hears people, giving class, taking class in the main courtyard. It's not his master teaching. It's one of the, it's kind of the senior brothers who's leading a very young group of initiates through their paces and, forms and things like that. Stuff that Ming's going to remember and all this other stuff. Over on the left side, kind of a balcony, you've got several of the full brothers doing their meditation practices or, using their key magic for, forms and things like that. Over here on the very far right, maybe you've got kind of the temple area itself where there's daily prayers and things like that being offered to being offered to the dragon, right? They honor the dragon that way. And so all these other things are going on. Now, I think this is important. Ming's going to remember that in the burial mound, there was an altar to the dragon. Now, he knows that people here kind of pray to the dragon, but they don't worship him, right? It's just showing respect to your founder, essentially. And so he's going to keep that in the back of his head when he's talking to someone. I'm wondering, so was Tai Yang here? Has Tai Yang left the monastery? I think after Ming left, that kind of gave Tai Yang the push, right? To go, okay, I can't be left behind here. So I'm going to say somewhat likely that Tai Yang left. 81 is a no. Yeah, that's a no. So Tai Yang is still here. I wonder why. I really do. We'll worry about that moment. So Ming's walking around. He's thinking Tai Yang's left. But again, he's been gone for 2 months, right? So he comes around kind of the corner to along a hallway that leads kind of to the barracks area. And he finds his old bed there. Like, just as he left it, he puts his pack next to his bed. Next to his bed is Tai Yang's. And it looks like he can tell Tai Yang is still here. And so now he's wondering where he is. But after putting his stuff down, he is going to walk out. Of course, several at this point, the initiates and the other full brothers, they're all crowding around. I'm like, oh, Ming, what's going on? What's going on? Oh, Ming. They're all excited to see him, of course. And I think that most of them want to hear some stories about his travels, especially the younger kids. I think that they all definitely want to hear some of the tales that he's told. And maybe he takes a moment and kind of sits down on a bench somewhere and kind of regales them with his adventure into the burial mound. Of course, embellishing all the embellishments to make it seem like he did much better than he actually did. And of course, he shows them the scar on his leg from getting hit by the giant, a log. Maybe even shows a couple of the burns on his arms. They're like, oh, it's so cool. He's playing it up for theatrics. So I'm thinking maybe like after an hour or so, he asks some of the initiates around him, where is Brother Yang? And also, where is Master Dalong? I have not seen them. And there's kind of a hush. They are busy. One of the little initiates speaks up. They are doing something. No one really knows. Really? Yes. Where are they? And so he points up, and Ming knows what that means. There's a path behind the monastery. It goes up even further into the mountain. And generally, you're only allowed to go there by invitation from the master. Normally, it's to train in something, to learn something that can't be taught amongst the regular brothers. All senior members have done this, and all it's a part of the order. Right? It's a part of what they do. And so Ming is a tinge of jealousy kind of twicks in him. He knows what this means, that yet again Taiyang has taken a step further than him. And he just, whatever. It's not why he's here, right? It's not why he's here. Let Taiyang do whatever he's going to do. So I'm thinking let's do an investigation. Or actually, no, sorry. Let's just do a straight intelligence. I think he's going to know, like there's going to be someone here that can help him with what he's looking for. So yeah, straight intelligence, DC 10 plus 4, 14. There we go, 14 plus 2 is 16. So yeah, he knows, he remembers, oh yes, we've got a lot, maybe they have a library. Do they have a library? Very likely. 17, extreme yes. No, it's not, just a regular yes, but still, sorry, my bad. So it is a yes, and they do have a library. So he goes to the library that you can see along the walls. There's several different scroll racks where you can pull scrolls out and open them and read them. They don't have books because it's middle of the mountain. It's hard to keep and maintain books, but scrolls are different. And so there's tons and tons of scroll racks. You see initiates kind of studying for maybe some of their exams coming up. You also see a bunch of the younger ones learning how to read and write with different classes going on, and maybe side rooms on the opposite wall. You've also got maybe full brothers walking around trying to study some lore or learn some different forms that have been written down from members of the order from long, long ago. It's just an air of studiousness. Ming walks around looking for hoping to see Taiyang, but of course he knows he's not going to be here. And so he kind of goes to the front desk of the library. Excuse me, and the librarian is busy, buried in a scroll. Excuse me. He kind of rolls it up, looks up, and it's just a small human. I say small. It's an old man. It's shrunken down under the weight of the years. What do you want? I'm hoping to find some information. Well, you're in the right place. This is a library after all. And he goes back to reading the scroll. Means I'm looking for specific information. Shh. Of course you are. What are you looking for? Hurry up. Totally. The librarian has always been like this, but Ming doesn't really spend much time in here. He's not exactly the smartest tool in the shed. I'm looking for something on the Rite of Selection. Now, when he says this, I think everyone nearby is gonna kind of look at him like, did he just really say that? And the librarian himself is gonna put down a scroll. Do you know what you're asking? No, I don't. He looks around, kind of everybody. At this point, all the people in the immediate vicinity are looking at him, eyes wide, like, what's going to happen? Did I say something wrong? Master had mentioned it before. Yes. One moment. So the guy kind of hobbles off the stool, kind of old man with his cane, walks over to a scroll rack, kind of pulls. I think in my head, I'm imagining that this is kind of like the forbidden section, right? So he unlocks a latch and pushes a grate back, and it reveals another room. And he motions this way, and so Ming goes around the desk and follows him. And they go down down some stairs, And they're in what looks to be kind of like a cellar, an area that is not open to everyone. Like you can't just go in there; you have to be with the librarian himself. And so he walks over, he lights a lantern, holds it up, and he says, "Follow me." And he's walking down this long hallway. The walls obviously are full of scrolls, and there's some spider webs and cobwebs and dust. It smells, it reeks of earth and dust. Clearly, this is an area that's not used very often for obvious reasons. And so finally he stops and he turns to the right and he just reaches up. He tries to reach for a scroll. He looks over at Ming. That one. The one with gold trim. He reaches up and grabs it. He goes to open. He says, "Wait." Okay. What? Not here. Take it. Open it in private. Good luck. Okay. So Ming's confused. I'm confused. And so Ming takes it and when he walks out of the forbidden section with the librarian, I think there's going to be at this point a whole crowd's kind of gathered. You know, maybe there's whispers. Oh, he's gonna do the rite of selection. Shh, shh, he's coming. Someone's gonna do the rite of selection. Shh, he's coming. Right? They're all there's like a hush in the room. This is really exciting. This is really cool. Someone's gonna do something really cool. And he comes out and he's holding the scroll. And most of the people are going to have confused look on their faces. Like, oh, what is that? But I think a couple of the older, like senior brothers, they're kind of like, yeah. They got a knowing look on their face. And they're just like, like kind of giving him like, yeah, you go, man. You got this. So I think that half the group knows exactly what's going on. Half the group has no clue. Ming's in the latter, let me tell you. And so he takes it and he says, open it somewhere private. So maybe somewhere else in the monastery. I think, yeah, let's just roll a quick investigation check. Oh, yeah, 18 plus. Yeah, it's an unnatural 20. Ming easily finds kind of maybe a side room in the temple, or maybe some meditation room on the meditation floor. Yeah, we'll do that. He goes to a meditation room somewhere on the meditation floor, gets inside. You know, there's no door to it. It's just an open small room, but still nobody's there with him. He kind of gets nestled in under the cushion on the floor. I mean, he himself kind of just meditates for a couple minutes to calm himself, calm his mind. You know, he's thinking what this could be. He reaches for the scroll, pops open the seal, and we'll find out what's inside next time. Thanks so much for watching. My name is Kenneth. I'm the Lone Dice Guy. Please like, subscribe, put your comments in the comments below. What do you think is in the scroll? What do you think the Rite of Selection itself is? I don't know. So you let me know. Let me know your ideas down below. Again, if you have your own solo games, please post them. Let me see them. I love stuff like that. I want to see your games. I want to watch them as well. Again, I hope that you'll stick around. I'm enjoying this. I hope you are too. Next time, we find out more about the rite and what's inside the scroll. I'm Kenneth, the Lone Dice Guy. Thanks for watching. God bless.